Morning. Happy Monday. What do we got? 11:24 a.m. Eastern time start here on Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. We got work to do. We're going to have a fun live today. We got about 24 orders going out the door. eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Amazon. We got something going from everywhere. And some new brands today. So we're going to have some interesting discussions today. I think we have interesting discussions every Monday at this time. But I think we got some interesting ones today, especially interesting. We got some new brands that I've never found or flipped before going out the door. And this is actually just two of them. There's at least one more that I've never sold before in this pile. Some brands I don't find very often are in this pile, and there's some really great bread and butter stuff that I sell, day in, day out, week in, week out. So welcome in. We got work to do. Thanks for popping in the chat, saying hello. Let me just see why my Instagram ain't working here. There's always some sort of technical difficulty, ain't there? Let's try this, see if that works. Let's see if that kicks it into gear. We are live as we are every Monday morning on YouTube, on Facebook, maybe on Instagram if this cooperates. And update the channel and provide a new stream key. All right. I don't know if Instagram's going to work today, but we're live on Facebook and YouTube anyway. There's always some technical stuff, right? Good morning, Julie. Thanks for popping into the chat and saying hello. Love to hear from you. Love to hear about your weekend. If you got into something fun, drop that down below in the chat. If you had some good sales, I want to hear about those, of course, too. I'm going to show you all my sales. And we're going to roll through everything. If you've been here before, you know this. We're going to roll through all the sales. I'm going to ship out everything. I'm going to tell you how much I paid for these items, how much they sold for, and about my profit on each of these items here too. The whole point of this live stream is just to give you a good, honest glimpse into what's going on in our business, this business that we run out of our home. It's now been 7 years since we started this business. It's been full-time for 4.5 years for me. So just to give you a good, honest glimpse, hopefully you learned something. And it's also a safe place to ask questions and just talk about your business too. Good morning from Arizona. Welcome in, Suzanne. Good to have you. Good to have you. So yeah, I don't think Instagram's going to work today, but it's going to be our YouTube and Facebook crowd. We just make do with whatever technology wants us to make do with, I guess. So welcome in. You're the boss for just a moment. Let me know what we got to ship first. Are we going to ship eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, or Amazon? You just let me know down below in the chat. The first person that responds and writes one of those words, Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari, write that down below in the chat, and that's where we'll get started. I'm going to print out these eBay shipping labels. And remember, this is like the whole purpose of this live. I've been going live with this kind of stuff for, I think the first time I went live was probably in 2021 on TikTok. And the whole reason that we do these lives is just to give you a place to come talk reselling. I know a lot of people in your lives probably don't understand what's going on with your reselling stuff. Like, what are you doing traipse around thrift stores and garage sales and all that stuff? So this is a place that you can come and you can just talk about that stuff. I get you. Your friends, your family might not understand this stuff, but I get you. I understand what you're up to. You're building something for your future. You're trying to get a little extra money coming in, and it's not easy these days to pay all them bills. Things got expensive. So we got eBay first. Thank you, Suzanne. Your vote counts. So we're going to start with eBay first. Welcome in. And here's all our eBay labels going on. As usual, more sales on eBay than anywhere else. We got 19 sales. This is from the last 3 days. Kim and I were away for the weekend. We were in Winston-Salem. It was both Kim's mom and dad had a birthday. So dad's birthday is August 1st. And then today, August 4th, is mom's birthday. So let's get these all out and going. We got 19 eBay. We'll jump into Poshmark after that. We'll do Mercari after that. And we'll do some Amazon after that. So welcome in. Let me know, how did the weekend go? We got some interesting conversations today too. So here are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some new brands that have never flipped before. So you're going to see some of those things. We're going to talk about sell-through rate and how important sell-through rate is, but also sometimes sell-through rate is a little not what it always seems. So we're going to talk about how to demystify sell-through rate. I had a couple items sell that might seem like low sell-through rate items, but in fact are not. So we're going to talk a little bit about that sell-through rate thing later on today. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about today? I just kind of talk about things as they come up. And I want to talk about the switch, the season change that we have going on right now that I'm visually seeing on my shipping screen right now, that there is a shift from summertime buying that moving towards fall buying. I mean, it's happening right before our eyes. It's usually a slow change, a slow shift. It doesn't happen all in one day. I do have some summertime items going out, but you see the percentage of items that are summer is shrinking. The percentage of items that are fall is increasing, and even some winter kind of items are starting to pop up too. Welcome in, Tamara. Good to have you. Good to have you. Love to hear about what's going on in your business too. So, all right, we're going to start first with Jacob. Jacob is our first order. This is actually the first order that came in Friday after Kim and I left for the weekend. We were down in Winston-Salem, the Piedmont. And it is, I'm going to say, look at this flannel shirt. I got sweatpants on too. It's cool outside. It's raining. Actually, it just stopped raining, but it was raining for a little bit. It's just kind of like that we've got this like little overcast, cool stretch that came through, and I'm here for it. We had a really hot summer, really humid, really hot. And here in Asheville, it cooled off over the weekend, and it even cooled off down off the mountain down in Winston-Salem. Lower elevations, usually a lot hotter there. We had like some weather. We were sitting outside Friday night. We're like, this feels like fall. It feels like October, and I'm here for it. I got the flannel on for the first time in a while. So first order is going out the door to Jacob. Where is his shirt? This is an order. This is a shirt I've had in my inventory for quite a while. I actually have one more of these left. Not an awesome pattern. It is a FootJoy, brand new with tags. It is a size medium, which is a smaller size. Typically have lower sell-through rate on this. This sold for full asking price, $39.99. I paid $20 for it. Not huge profit there, and it did take a while to sell. I had a whole bunch of these FootJoy polos. A few of them are still left over, and that kind of happens when you do retail arbitrage. You sell some of them really quickly, you sell some of them kind of moderately quickly, and then you have a few stragglers that hang out. This was a straggler, but $39.99 it sold for on eBay, plus the buyer paid $6.95 shipping, and this is going to Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. Full asking price sale on this. So this is an example of really a summertime sale still, but golf polos will still sell through the fall. They'll slow down a little bit, but they'll really start slowing down once you get into like late October, early November. You'll see golf polos slow down, but golf polos are a 3-season item. It's not just summer. They'll sell in the spring, they'll sell in the summer, and they'll sell in the fall too. Thanks for the help with the suit jacket. You're welcome. I hope that was helpful. Appreciate hearing from you too. 108 heat index here today. Brandon, remind me where you're at. 108 heat index. I mean, it's probably, I know overnight last night, right before we went to bed, it was like 59 degrees here, which is definitely the coolest temperature we've had in Asheville since May anyway. We actually kind of had like a cooler, kind of cool to moderate May, and then it got real hot June, July. So thank you, Jacob. That's our first order out the door. What's up, Christine? Welcome back. Good to have you in here. Good to have y'all. Good to hear from all y'all. It's good to spend a little bit of time with you. It's more fun doing this with y'all in the house than just me by myself. We have our first of at least 2 international sales. Is it at least 2? It's 2. So the first of 2 international sales. You've seen me show you this before, probably, because I sold the same exact pair of pants about 3 weeks ago or so. So Hugo Boss. This is a Hugo Boss Porsche. So there's a Hugo Boss embroidery. There's also a Porsche embroidery. That's fairly common. Hugo Boss has a deal with Porsche. Who else do they have deals with? Do they have? Yeah, they have Ferrari stuff too. I feel like I've seen before. So anytime you can find a collab with like Porsche or Ferrari or a lot of those car collabs, they do pretty well. This sold for a best offer of $59. So the other one I think sold for maybe about the same price, about $60. So I paid $5 for each of these pairs of pants at a thrift store. They've both sold now. So I like it. This one's going international. I'm shipping. This is through eBay's international shipping program. So even though international shipping might sound scary over there, it's through eBay's program. So I'm shipping this to an address in Glendale Heights, Illinois. And from there, eBay's going to take care of the rest of the deal. They get it to the customer in whatever country they're in. I don't even see their country. I can look at it if I want to, but actually I kind of do want to look at it, to be honest with you. I'm curious who's buying Hugo Boss Porsche. You know, Hugo Boss is like a pretty popular brand out in Europe and over, you know, I don't think it's as popular here as it is other places, but let's take a look at this one. If I look at the order details, I can see where it's going to. So this is going to Taiwan. I don't know what town it is in Taiwan because it says it in, I guess, Taiwanese. The symbols, I can't read that, but it does say Taiwan. So that's interesting. So Hugo Boss pants going to Taiwan. Hugo Boss Porsche pants. So awesome pickup there. I paid $5, sold for $59. After fees, I'm going to be left with about 48, 49 bucks. So I'm going to make, with my cost of goods, I'm going to make $44 off this one pair of pants. And I had two of them, same size, same color. So all I did was one round of photos, one round of measurements, and I set the quantity to 2, and now both of them have sold. So, basically made 44 times 2 off that one listing. So that's like 88 bucks right there. Pretty good. I'll take that for one listing, right? You don't get that too often. Especially at a thrift store, to find 2 of the same exact item, same size. Like, that's like, let's go. Doesn't happen too often. Next up is a brand new with tags, Polo Ralph Lauren. This is going to West Carrollton, Ohio. So brand new with tags, Polo. This is size 4XLT. You can see the retail price is $125 on this. Nice plaid pattern. This thing is shouting spring to me. It's got the pony on the chest right there too. Or sorry, shouting fall to me. So this is going to Eric. It's a lightweight. This is going to ship at a 12-ounce rate. If you're popping in for the first time, I weighed all these items before I went live and bought the shipping labels. That way I didn't have to do that while I'm live. It's like walking and chewing gum. I'll probably screw something up, but we'll do the rest of the deal here on the live. So this is going to Eric. Thanks, Eric. Sold for $64.99. I paid $29 for the shirt. So my profit on this after fees is going to be about 52 minus 29. That's going to be $23. I'm going to make $1 off the shipping too. So about 24 bucks profit off this. I don't mind spending 29 to make 24. $24 for one unit of inventory is above average for me. Anything over 20 is good. About 65% of my sales are items that profit me between $10 and $19. So this one at 23 falls into that other 35% category. And those 65% and that 35%, they usually make about the same amount. So my $10 to $20 profit items tend to make me the same amount of profit every month as my items that are $20 plus profit. There's obviously more of the smaller profit items, but those things add up. But at the end of the month, it's usually about 50-50. The big profit items and the small profit items are about the same for my business. So next up is, and that's a good consistent seller for me, brand new with tags, Polo Ralph Lauren. If I can find it on clearance for cheap enough, great bread and butter item for me. Great bread and butter item. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome in. Say hello in the chat. We got 39 people in the house. I like it. Sorry if you tried to join on Instagram. I don't know why my restream, sometimes it just doesn't cooperate with Instagram. They fight. Today is one of those days. Next up is I mentioned there's going to be a couple of new brands. You're not going to be able to see the tag here, but I'm going to show you I'm going to do a screen share so you can see this. So the brand here is called Mons Royal. I never heard of this brand before. I have seen it since, by the way. But let's do a quick screen share here. I just want to make sure I'm not showing the buyer's information. Cool, we're good. All right, so this is the item right here. You can see a best offer was accepted. The best offer was $49.99. So I listed it for $59, sold for $49. That's the tag right there. So what tipped me off about this item is that tag. It says there merino apparel. So I'm like, oh, merino wool. That's probably worth looking up. And also designed in New Zealand is usually something worth looking up too. The combination of those two, usually New Zealand wool items tend to sell really, really well. So this is the item, the jacket. It is a fleece jacket, and obviously it's kind of like a little hybrid style. It's got the water resistant thing on the tops or like on the hood and all that. But so merino wool piece, and this is, let's just look at the merino wool. 59% polyester and 35% merino wool with a little elastane in there. So that's the brand here. Nice seller right here, Mons Royal. Good one to keep your eye out for. Anytime you see merino wool or or made in New Zealand, you should probably look that item up. I'm not saying pick up every merino wool thing you see, and I'm not saying pick up every single made in New Zealand thing you see, but it's at least it's at least worth taking a second look and looking that item up on eBay. So $49.99. This is also an international sale. Let's take a peek at where this one's going to. I wonder if it's going to New Zealand. That'd be interesting. Again, this is going to Glendale Heights is where I'm shipping it to, and then eBay is going to take care of it the rest of the way. This is going to the UK, so it's going to Edinburgh, this city of Edinburgh, United Kingdom. So, but I'm just shipping it to Glendale Heights through that eBay international program. So $49.99. I paid $6.99 for this at the thrift store. So this is a great sale. After fees, I'm going to make about 42 minus that 7. I'm going to make $35 on this. Plus I'm going to make another. So I'm going to make $3 on the shipping too, because I charged $9.95 shipping on this to get it to Glendale Heights, Illinois. So great little profit item there. I say 34 bucks on that. I'll take that. I'll take that. Got some nice little profit items starting the day, and this is just the order they came in on. It's not like I'm like front loading these or back loading these or whatever. We actually have some really great profit items still coming later on in the show too. So welcome in the show. It's not really a show. You get the idea. Next up, so this is going to Michael. So 2 international orders going out the door today. I like it. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope everyone's off to a good start to their week. This time of year, you know, obviously I speak with a lot of clothing resellers on a regular basis, some of them even on a daily basis. And, you know, the stuff that we talk about behind the scenes right now is just about getting closer and closer to fall. You know, kind of like making it through this summer slowdown period, trying to do things like running sales and listing in-season items and all that stuff. That's the stuff we're talking about behind the scenes, but we're always kind of like reinforcing this idea that we're getting closer and closer to September 1st, September 15th. Things are about to turn up. All these folks I talk to, you know, we're lower in sales than we are in the spring and the fall. So we're just kind of like, we're trying to do good during the summer. We're trying to work on our game and our craft and build things behind the scenes so that we can come back stronger in the fall. But that's what the conversation's all about, is like being ready for fall, get into September and get ready to crush things. Here's a brand I don't sell too often, J. Peterman. Hey, Omi, how are you? I like this. I like talking about this particular piece right here because this is a classic. You've heard me say it a million times if you've followed me for more than like a couple of weeks, is you got to look beyond the brand. J. Peterman's pretty good. They typically don't sell for $27 plus shipping like this one did, and they typically don't sell this fast like this one did. So this one's got epaulettes on the shoulders, and it's got the double flap pockets on the chest. So those two things together make this a military or a safari style shirt are really great keywords for this. And in a lot of brands, even mediocre brands, if you can find this military or safari style, again, with the epaulettes and the double chest flap pockets, then they tend to sell for a little bit more money. So things like if you found this in Duluth Trading or Cabela's or J. Crew even, or LL Bean, these would be good pickups because of that style. So you know, we talk about every brand tends to have this cream that rises to the top, and the military style is something to keep your eye out for. Now, I'm not saying pick up every single military style item that you ever find. That would be bad advice, but I would say look up anytime you find that military style. Now, if it's George or Morona, don't bother looking those up. Those brands, no matter what, are really just not going to be worth any money. But some of those borderline ones like Cabela's and LL Bean that you know that are popular, even J. Crew, even Banana Republic, look them up if you find that military or safari style, because they can get more money, and definitely use those keywords. This one actually had a little flaw to it too. It just had some like, had like one spot on it, and it just had some like regular wash and wear, like some like fading around the seams, but that's okay. People like that in this style of shirt. So $27 plus $6.95 shipping on this. This is going to Richard in Shelby Township, Michigan. And so good pickup right there. J. Peterman's a good brand to sort of walk into your BOLO list, but also I think more importantly, that military style is something to pay attention to. What's up, Susan? Just listed a couple of Dales and Norway vintage sweaters. Nice. So those were out of your closet. We'll be interested to see how they do. Hope my comp work comes through. I'm sure it did. That's awesome. Those are great finds. I know you found them. It sounds like you found them in your closet, but either way, that's a great seller. Those Dale of Norway. I'm glad that you got those up and listed. Make you some money, Susan. I like it. Omi is in the house. What's up, Omi? I bought 2 vintage collegiate jackets from an estate sale. They are in excellent condition, but have a terrible smell. One is leather and one is wool. How do I get rid of the smell without damaging the jackets? There's more to it here. Oh, I think you got cut off. So Omi, great find. First of all, that's awesome. And yes, this is a great common question. So I'm going to throw this at the chat. Chat, help out Omi. This is one of those things, like, people have different ways of getting stains out. They have different ways of getting smells out, right? People have their witchcraft. They have their products. They have their this works every time kind of stuff. Hit Omi with some of that. And I think we have 2 specific things here. We have one is leather and one is wool. So we have kind of gentle fabrics here. So give Omi your witch magic tips down below in the chat for getting smells out of leather and wool. I'll share mine too. I'm not copping out, but I'm curious to hear what other people say, and I'll kind of chime in based on what others say. So I'll leave that up on the screen so people can chime in and help Omi. This is what a good community supportive folks do. They help each other out. I like it, Omi. Next up, you might remember the video I did about this. If you don't, this is Frank & Eileen, which is an excellent, excellent brand to keep your eye out for. The model of this shirt is called the Mackenzie, which is like this oversized kind of longer shirt. Really great seller. In used, excellent condition. These sell between $80 and $110 pretty consistently and pretty quickly too. This one, however, was missing one of the buttons, so I did a video about it. And I got a whole bunch of comments on that video about what I should do or not do with this Frank & Eileen without the button. The overwhelming majority of people said something to the degree of like, just sew another button on. And some of them said like, sew another button on, dummy, or, you know how people are on the internet. All kinds of different opinions. I don't care about all the crazy people, but they were right. A lot of people were talking about like, there's probably extra buttons on the inside, or you can take the bottom button up and move it up to this one. You can find a button. People told me all kinds of stuff. Like, I keep buttons because my grandmother or my grandfather taught me to keep buttons. So I have a jar of all these different buttons so I can have a button to match any single possible item. Those were all awesome answers. You probably know what I did with this shirt though. I just listed it with the flaw. I pointed it out. I put asterisk read in the title. In the description, I mentioned that it was missing the button, and then I did a close-up photo with a pointer pointing right at the spot where the button was missing. So this buyer knows that this is missing the button. I priced it below market value, so I told you they were selling for $80 to $110 in excellent condition. Mine wasn't excellent because of the missing button. I priced it at $69.99. Bottom of the market. It sold in 7 days. Within that 7 days, I had 4 other interested buyers who had offered me as high as $50 to $55. So I knew I had an item here. I was just going to hang out. I knew I had an in-demand item that somebody was going to pay for. So I went back and forth with this final customer, and I brought them up they started at $49. I got them up to $59.99. And if they fell off the hook, I wasn't worried about that because I already had 4 other customers in less than a week that had offered me $50 to $55. So I had a feeling I could get my $59.99. I did. So I paid $5 for this at a thrift store. It took 1 week to sell. Even with the missing button, this Frank & Eileen sold for $59.99. Awesome profit on that item. So if your item is worth enough, don't be scared of flaws, because, like I said, they're selling for $80 to $110 in excellent condition. With a flaw, I just priced it a little bit cheaper than that and got me a quick sale. And you get a lot of clicks and a lot of offers on items when you price low like that, because you're at the bottom of the market. So it gets a lot of people's attention when they're scrolling through and they see the cheap price. So you get a lot of traffic to listings like that when you price low. So thank you, Jenna. Did I put the thank you card in there? I did. Jenna's probably going to get this and do exactly what your advice is just sew on another button. Peak don't sew though. That's just not something we really do around here. We just get it up, get it listed. If I wanted to sew that button on, I could have made probably an extra $30 on this. Well, $30 in sale price after fees, like another, 20 or 25 bucks. But I'm fine with just skipping the whole sewing thing and getting this thing out the door. Does anybody have any thoughts for Omi? This has been up on the screen, y'all, for like 5 minutes. Can you give me some ideas about how you get smells out of things? I threw that up there thinking y'all would be helpful. I know y'all are helpful. That's been up there for like 5 minutes, y'all. Maybe y'all are just like somebody's typing like a book or something. Help out Omi. She's got 2 items, a leather item and a wool item that got smell in it. Help her out. Give her some ideas. I know you got some witch magic stuff for smelly items. Boy, it's getting a little warm in here. It is getting a little brighter outside too, so we got that going on. Next up is, what do we got? Peter Millar. So this is a Peter Millar Summer Comfort. I don't find these too often because this is a long sleeve button down shirt. It's very lightweight. It's a, I think a nylon blends, but so this is like a moisture wicking nylon blend. Sold for $27.99, which is my full asking price. I did a post about this Peter Millar if you want to look at that too. So the sell-through rate, if I remember on this Peter Millar, the Summer Comfort, the long sleeves, like you really, when you comp things, you can't just comp Peter Millar. A lot of people tell me like the brand Peter Millar is slow, therefore I wouldn't buy that item. I'm like, well, you got to learn beyond the brand. Every brand has items that sell better or for worse, right? Particularly when it comes to like materials and style. So this is that Summer Comfort. It's a long sleeve button down with a really nice plaid pattern on it. So the average sale price on an item like this is about $25, but the sell-through rate is only about 30% or 35%. I forget what it is, which is a low sell-through rate. So if you price at the middle of the market, this could take, 90 days or more to sell. If you price it at the bottom of the market at say like $20, then you're probably going to get a pretty quick sale, maybe inside a week if you price it at $20. If you price it at the high end of the market, and there were examples of the high end of the market sales for these, where you price it at $34 or even $35, you might hang on to this item for about a year waiting for that to sell because, again, the sell-through rate is low at 30 or 35%. So you can change your own sell-through rate. And one way to do that is by adjusting the price. If you would price at market value, right, at the midpoint, then you're kind of bound to the sell-through rate, right? You're going to wait around for a while to sell that item. If you price above the market, you're going to wait even longer. But if you price below the market, you can get that item moved quick. I priced that item a little bit above the market, but I also cross list. I have automation tools. I have really great photos on my items. So I know I can compete at a price. And we got a response here from Susan. But so I was like, I'm going to see if I can get 27. It's in season for an item like this too. So you got to think about the seasonality of the item. I'm like, I bet you I can get above market for price for this. And you know what? If somebody offers me 22 or 23, I'll accept that off the $27.99. It's sold for $27.99. I paid $5 for it at the thrift store. Pay attention to your sell-through rate. Pay attention to the seasonality, and then you can price accordingly. So if you can get that item cheap enough and you can price it at 20 and still make profit, why not do that and get the quick few bucks, move on to the next flip and keep spinning that money. So I didn't do it that way. I priced it a little higher. I still got my sale, but I had to wait a little bit longer. Next up is for William. I know a lot of people don't pick up Duluth Trading. They say, I don't pick up that brand. Well, I have 3 Duluth Trading sales just from this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's a classic, all day today, we're going to talk about look beyond the brand, look beyond the brands, right? There are a lot of things from Duluth I pass on, but I do well with the jeans and pants. So we're going to talk about that with this next sale. But first, let's dig into Susan's thought process right here. So Susan uses a spray from Walmart called Ozium. Lightly spray item, then put it in a trash bag closed for about 24 hours, and it definitely gets rid of the odor. So there you go, Omi. A really great idea there. Ozium. I haven't heard of that one. There's always witch magic that people have when it comes to, like tactics that they swear by that get stuff out of clothing. The way I most commonly get stuff out of clothing, and this would work for your wool piece, is I use a Febreze spray, right? So I'll just spray that item with Febreze lightly. And then I put it outside I have a hook where it's really a nail, and I put it on a hanger outside on the front porch, and I let it get a ton of sun and fresh air. And usually, if it's out there for like 8 hours getting sun and fresh air, and it had that Febreze on it, usually the Febreze takes out the initial smell. Then the item smells like Febreze, And then it takes like 6 or 8 hours for it to sit out there in the sun and to get that smell out. So that, for me, that's a nice, easy way to do it. Another common way that people will get smells out of things is to use a mixture of, it's like, like the cheap, strong vodka, like an Everclear or something like that, and mix that with water. And you can Google like, what's the right mixture? I don't have it off the top of my head. And just lightly spray your item with that. Apparently it takes out a lot of odors. And again, just let it dry. You can put it out in the sun too, but let it dry, get that odor out. And a lot of times, honestly, I just hang them outside. It's amazing what the fresh air and UV rays will do for items in terms of getting smell out. So with the leather's a little trickier. I probably would use Febreze, particularly on the inside and on the outside too. Just lightly spray it, put it outside, and let some sunlight, the UV rays, and some fresh air, some good old fresh air helps a lot too. But if other people have ideas here for OMI, I know that there's a lot of you out there who have here's how I get odors out of things. I'd love to sort of bring that into the conversation too, because I know there's other tricks out there that people swear by. So our next sale is, Duluth Trading. That's it. So this is actually a pair of women's Duluth Trading. I don't pick these up too much. I picked these up. These are size 18 by 31, and they're boot cut. So right now, a good rule of thumb in women's jeans and pants is like boot cut, or anything like wide leg, boot cut, even like, like relaxed fit, straight leg, anything like wider. That's what people are wearing. I went and visited the family this weekend, and my sister-in-law is wearing like wide leg baggy, like super wide leg, like Y2K baggy stuff. My niece, who's a teenager, was wearing that too. So I feel like everybody is wearing that sort of stuff. Doesn't matter what age, like that boot cut or like really loose fit or wide leg is in. So these sold for $19 on a best offer. So $19 on best offer. I paid $5 for these at the thrift store. I'm going to tell you how long these took to sell because I forget. I haven't been talking about that as much today. These took 52 days to sell, so just under 2 months. And of course, now we're just getting into that fall buying season. A bunch of my sales moving forward are a bunch of like jeans and pants. And this is where like we're really seeing the fall stuff starting to, that flip start to happen. Thank you. Flare leg is back too. Only I use boot cut and flare leg is kind of like the same. I know they're a little bit different, but yes, flare, anything flare, wide leg, baggy, loose fit. That's what people are looking for. Those are also really good keywords right now because as people are shopping, they are looking for brands and they're looking for models, but they're also looking for like descriptors, like also like preppy and Y2K. Like think about all those like good keywords that someone just might be searching for that doesn't know clothes as well as you do, but they know they want something that's kind of baggy or flare leg or wide, or they want to look like their friends, right? They don't know the names. They don't know the words. So think about those like normal everyday people words that people use, and that's what they're searching for. And that can help you show up higher in search results if you use those smart words or keywords, if you will. So profit on this at $19. My fees will be a little under $2, 17. My fees will be about $350. So they paid $19 plus $8.95 shipping. So this will be 16, 15, 1050. I made about $11.50 off that pair of jeans. So again, on the low end of my profit stuff, but those kind of sales really add up, and we'll see it today. I got 3 Duluth Trading pants going out the door. So those ones took 52 days. Next up is Brooks Brothers. Linen is definitely a summertime thing, but this is an example of linen that will age well into the fall too, because it's a long sleeve shirt and it's got that kind of like more of a work look to it. So even though linen is technically a spring summer type of fabric, the style on this is more of like a fall style. Also, the colorway will go into the fall really well. So no surprise that this sold now $22.50. A linen in that style with long sleeve is a really great seller in August. You talk about like the mini season that we're in right now. like it's kind of a transitional season where people aren't really buying like the super heavy stuff. They're not buying the super dark colors really yet that come with like fall and winter. It's something like this, you know, it's still lightweight, but it's a long sleeve, and it's not really a summer color. It's kind of like an in-between kind of neutral color. For me right now, August, like this is a really good seller. Like that's an example of like the micro season, like what's selling right now. Brooks Brothers linen, of course they sell a lot of different times of the year, but to me, this is like a quintessential like August seller right here. You know what I mean? Like August colors, not quite fall. It's not quite summer colors. It's kind of somewhere in between. And this is going to Birchwood, Tennessee. So I'm not going too far here. $22.50. So on this one, $13.50. We're going to make about $16.50. About $16.50 on that. I paid $5 at the thrift store. Let me tell you how many days it took to sell. 35 days to sell that. So just over a month on that Brooks Brothers. Haven't even paid the credit card bill on that one and already got the money, the profit in the bank account. Next up is, this is an item I haven't sold before. There's a lot of those in here. Like I talk about a lot is you got to keep learning. You got to keep learning. And this is an example of that, and trying new things and being curious when you're out there at the thrift store. And this is an example. I'm 7 years into this game and I'm still learning. You have to. This is the fashion business. It changes really rapidly. If you don't think you're in the fashion business and you're reselling clothing, you are wrong. You are in the fashion business. And by definition, fashion changes fast. Got my first box of Untuckit photograph this weekend. Nice work, Christy. Nice work. I like that. Probably mowed through it a little bit quicker than you thought, right? Because you got all that multi-quantity in there, right? So just setting the quantity to 3 or setting the quantity to 4 makes things easy, doesn't it? And hopefully if you get open the second box, you're probably going to have a lot of items in there that you already had in the first box. So hopefully you can just change the quantity and throw those out into inventory. So thanks for your business, Christy. Thanks for picking up those Untuckits. I hope you do well with them. My son thinks I'm famous because the owner of Untuckit Company, Chris, sent me a handwritten thank you note. He has it displayed on his dresser. He thinks you're famous. Should we tell him that I don't own Untuckit? If I owned Untuckit, I can imagine that I would be in a different tax bracket. But say hello to your son for me. That's pretty funny. Thanks for sharing that story. The owner of Untuckit. I hope that owner of Untuckit is rich and doing really well. So this item, thank you, Christy. Vintage Y2K American Eagle Outfitters cargo. Something just fell on the roof. This is the time of year. It's a squirrel. The squirrel's like chewing on probably acorns up in the tree, and I can see like the bits of the acorn shell like falling onto the garage roof out the window. That's funny. So anyway, cargo shorts. Y2K American Eagle. I'd show you the tag, but it's kind of bagged up. I can show you actually, let's look at the item. Let's do a shared screen. We can do that. We have the power for this. We have the technology. That's not the button. That's the button right there. Okay. So this is what it sold. This is kind of an interesting pickup. Let me tell you how long ago I picked these up. 31 days ago. So just over a month ago, I picked these up at the thrift store, and I was like, you know what? This style is coming back because I'm in the fashion business. I got to follow the style. And I was like, these cargo pants are coming back. My friend Dan Dussault's been wearing cargo pants through all the years that they've been out of style, like the last 10 years. The guy's been committed to cargo shorts, particularly baggy, long ones like this. And if they're camo, and even a bigger bonus. So Dan Dussault rode out the storm of these being out of style, and now they're back. Now we can get them cheaper again. So you can see the tag here, American Eagle, an older tag here. And yeah, you can see my measurements and stuff, whatever. But these sold for $25.99, full asking price. Took 31 days to sell. I paid $5 for these at the thrift store. That belt that you see on there, it didn't, like, this isn't like, I don't think the belt came with the item, but doesn't that look Y2K with that little like frayed end right there? And like that kind of like woven, like kind of thick belt. I was like, that looks Y2K. So I'm just it was at the thrift store on the item. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna include the belt. So $25.99. I paid $5. I did comp these while I was at the thrift store. I was like, I want to see if they're selling. And they seem to be selling pretty good. So I was like, I'm going to take a shot at them. And I bet you with my good photos, my good keywords, like Y2, I'll tell you all the keywords I used. I had it on the screen, but keywords were vintage Y2K Active Flex cargo shorts belted, and I put the size in there too. So I don't buy and sell a ton of American Eagle. Kind of the book on selling American Eagle has been look for, like, Y2K vintage. That's been a thing for a little bit. Look for the unique and different, and look for those items that you were wearing. If you're my age, look for the items that you were wearing like in high school and in college and in middle school, whatever it may be. And that's what people are looking for right now. These are going to Jill. Thank you, Jill, in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A lot of Midwest, I feel like we got today. Midwest spending money. I did say that, but it was actually a squirrel. That's why I said it, Christy. Thank you, Jill. So my profit on this, so $26. I charged $8.95 shipping. So I'm gonna make $2 off the shipping. My shipping label here is $6.45. So let's just see. $5. So that'd be like 21. I made $17 off the sale right here. So paid $5, made $17 in profit. And it only took 31 days to sell. I haven't paid that credit card bill yet. That statement just came due or will come due on the 15th of August, if you care. So using the bank's money, and I pay off my business credit card bill at the end of each cycle, like in full. So I don't pay any interest on that stuff. So I love those sales when you're flipping stuff and getting the profit before I've actually even paid for it, really. Next up is another Duluth Trading. I told you I had 3 Duluth Trading sales. This one, $19.12. These are the Relaxed Fit Relaxed Fit Flex Fire Hose. Men's size 42 by 38 canvas stretch pants. Kind of like a heavy, like thick, like work style pant from Duluth Trading. These sold on a Nifty best offer, $19.12. I think they were priced at $21.99. So Nifty sent a 10% off offer on this. So the buyer, whose name is Randy, thank you, Randy, he came in and watched this item on eBay. And 10 minutes later, Nifty, my cross lister, automatically sent Randy a 10% off offer. And Randy accepted that offer. So that's one of the huge benefits of having Nifty as a cross lister. It also has those built-in automation tools. Those automation tools make me extra money every single day, including today. They close deals. When those people hit that watch button, the odds of you getting that sale down the road are not very good. But with Nifty quickly sending them a 10% off offer before they can go and find the item on Poshmark or find a similar item on Amazon, or just decide that they're not going to spend any money at all because they're out of their money spending mood, or they got distracted, they're back at work, the kids are crying or whatever. You want to get that person to buy. Don't let them off the hook, an interested buyer. And that's what Nifty does. If you haven't checked out Nifty, if you don't using it yet, it makes me so much extra money every single month. It is crazy. I'm going to drop the link for a free trial of Nifty. It's a no strings attached free trial. That link is down below in the chat right now. No strings attached, free trial, 7 days. Check out Nifty. You can use it for a cross listing. You can use it like I do. I use the AI listing tool, which means I don't have to write descriptions. I don't have to write item titles. I just take the photos of the items in the measurements and I upload that into Nifty. Nifty creates the listing for me. And really quickly, I can cross list that on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And then it manages everything. It sends out automatic offers. It's constantly delisting and relisting stale items for me. It's constantly sharing on Poshmark. Every time it shares an item, which is 6,000 times a day, it shares items on Poshmark. Every time that happens, those items show up at the very top of the search results for a period of time, and then they drift back down the list. So Nifty is doing that all day, every day, getting me to the top of search results on Poshmark to help stimulate the sales there. And anytime something sells on eBay or Poshmark or Mercari, Nifty automatically takes that item down. I don't have to worry about it. If it sells overnight, I don't have to worry about it selling twice, because Nifty if it sells on eBay, Nifty's taking it down off Poshmark, taking it off Mercari. I don't have to worry about it. It is a beautiful thing. It saves me time and it makes me extra money every single month. Lots of extra money. In fact, little coffee break. In fact, the first 2 days of this month, I had 5 sales that came through Nifty's best offer. The profit on those sales was $99. I did a post about this yesterday. It was $99.20 was my profit off of those 5 sales that came from those Nifty best offers in the first 2 days of the month. Well, my Nifty subscription is $69.99. So those 5 extra sales that I got from that auto offer that Nifty sent, 5 sales, $99.20 in profit. I only paid $69.99 for Nifty for the whole month. So the rest of the month, the last 29 days of August, Nifty is working for me for free. It's like having a VA basically. It's doing all this stuff for me 100% for free now, because in the first 2 days it got paid for by the profits, not by the sales, but by the profits of those 5 items just from the Nifty best offers. So if you're like, I can't afford Nifty, $69.99 for all that automation, all that AI listing, all the cross listing, I can't afford that. I would tell you, well, look, I can't afford not to have it at this point, because $69.99, those 5 sales that Nifty got me, which I wouldn't have got without Nifty, those 5 sales, the profit already exceeded that. And I got 20 extra bucks in my pocket, and it's free for the rest of the month now. It's a beautiful thing. So consider it. I recommend it for people who have, if you have 150 listings or more, I think Nifty's just got to pay for itself, and probably within your first week. For me, it was in the first 2 days, but if you have 150 listings, I bet you it's going to pay for itself within the first week. I have Nifty's $39 subscription. So there you go. I like it. One thing you could consider tomorrow is bumping up to that $69. That gets you all those automation tools, which that's what I'm talking about. So that extra $30, imagine if you got, 3 sales over the next 3 days that came from Nifty best offers, where they automatically sent out the offers. It could pay for that whole, that next, $30 in the subscription. I'm just throwing it out there, but I don't know how many items that you have listed right now. Does Nifty do the best offer through eBay? Yes. In fact, all 5 of those best offers that I'm referring to that happened on the 1st and the 2nd of this month, they were all on eBay. But it also sends those offers on Poshmark. It sends those offers on Mercari. I believe it sends it on Depop too, but I'm no longer on Depop. But I think it sends the offers on Depop too, the auto offers. So, oh, I see. And you know what? Here's the thing tomorrow. You can always upgrade to that $69 subscription, right? $69.99. You can upgrade to it. And then you could say, you know what? It's not worth it for me. And then next month you can just back down off of it. So you're not committing to it long term. And that's what I like, is you can kind of move around on those different price points. You don't feel like you have to jump up to it. And again, you're already signed up. I have no financial interest in you upgrading your subscription, but I want you to make extra money. That's what I care about. So that's about Nifty. I did drop that link in the chat right there. If you're just jumping in, I'm going to drop it again. Sorry to spam you, but if somebody jumped in during the middle of that conversation, I want to make sure that they have that link that you can try it out for 7 days for free. And if you like it after those 7 days, I forgot to mention this, you'll get 15% off your first month if you decide to sign up. And again, each month is its own month. You don't have to commit to a year. You don't have to commit to 3 months. You commit to a month. And then if it doesn't help your business, then whatever. Just move on from it. But the first 7 days is a no strings attached trial. That link is down below in the chat. If you have questions about Nifty or you want to see something, just let me know, and I can go right into my account. I always have Nifty open on my dashboard so I can show you what it looks like. And if you have specific questions, I can get at that. But let's get into some more sales. Here's another one of those Nifty best offers. So this sold for $129.29. You can see that the retail price on there is $248. Really awesome, like Nordic Fair Isle print. It is a Polo Ralph Lauren. You can kind of see the tag right there. So this is a fleece piece. The keywords I use are snowflake, Nordic, Fair Isle, snap fleece jacket, men's size 2 extra large. This sold for $129.29. I believe I paid $60 for this piece right here. So nice. This was like a $42 profit for me on this. This is going to Ronaldo. This was a Nifty best offer too. We're kind of getting into the next one after this is a Nifty best offer. There was kind of like this pocket of best offers on the first and the second, like 5 of them on eBay. So Ronaldo, Ronaldo, thank you for your order. This is going to Pembroke Pines, Florida. I don't know where that is. Florida's a big state though. Pembroke Pines. Interesting that we got a fleece going to Florida in August. Probably 95 degrees with 10,000% humidity. But Ronaldo needs a fleece. I'm here for it. Thanks, Ronaldo. You are welcome, Tamara. Y'all drop some sales down below in the chat. Make me smile. I love hearing about good sales from y'all. Love hearing about your business. I like hearing about the W's. It's also a safe space to ask questions. Your friends, your family, they probably don't get you as a reseller. They're like, what are you doing fooling around at these thrift stores? What are you doing like with all these bins of inventory? And like, your house is like getting overtaken by clothes. And so what's wrong with you? I get you though. I get it. I'm there with you. So feel free to talk about what's going on in your world, ask questions and all that stuff. That's what this is for. This is supposed to be a space to sort of talk about this crazy, weird thing that we do that makes us money. Not brand new, used saddlebred. You're not gonna be able to see the tag on this one, but it's a saddlebred corduroy blazer. This has been a staple of my business for years and years now. I started doing suits and blazers, like going heavy into suits and blazers in January of 2021. That was like my goal for 2021, is like I wanted to learn a new category. So I learned suits and blazers, and it's my highest margin category. And I continue to learn more all the time. But this is one of those ones I found early on. Saddlebred, corduroy. I don't buy all the saddlebreds, but corduroy has done really well for me in the saddlebred. This one sold for $49.99. It's not really an August item. It's, this is like a fall winter item, but $49.99 plus $9.95 shipping. So this is a $60 sale for really a fallish item. And it's not the only saddlebred corduroy that I have sold recently. I just sold one a couple weeks ago. I'm going to look that up. Just give you an idea. I'm just going to search for saddlebred, because pretty much the only, with rare exceptions, saddlebred is pretty much, or corduroy blazers are pretty much the only thing I pick up from saddlebred. So let's take a look here. I've sold 3 of these blazers this year. And 2 of them have been recently. So there's that one. The last one sold July the 9th for, again, $49.95. That was a size 56L. And the one before that sold in March the 19th for $44.98. I love picking up these saddlebred corduroy blazers. Just a really good seller for me. And I always find them in like, there's 2 different shades of brown. I usually find it in like this darker shade like this, but just a consistent seller in my store. Nothing huge, just a bread and butter weekend. I love bread and butter weekends. Wish sales would pick up. Only sold 13 things Saturday through Sunday. Christy, it is that time of year. Ups and downs. I'm off by my sales. I can look at it, but I'm probably off. July was probably off from like my springtime sales by maybe 30%. So that's pretty significant. And you can only swim upstream so far, right? The macro thing is that people don't buy as many clothing items. During the summertime, they spend more money on experiences, trips, traveling. They're distracted. They're out and about. The kids are out of school, that sort of thing, right? They could be out of the country. They could be overseas, right? And they're just not buying stuff as much. You can only swim upstream so hard. You can't fight the microeconomic forces. You can run sales. You can hustle hard. But the bottom line is less people are spending. Less people are buying stuff, and people are spending. Each of those people who are buying stuff, they're spending less money. So don't worry. September's coming. Bought a buffalo plaid wool, smart wool for $5. Sold it for $65. Let's go. Freaking smart wool. I love that brand. Nice sale, Suzanne. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Sold a majestic San Francisco Giants jacket for $100 in less than 24 hours of listing for full price. Bought the jacket for $12. See, I love this. Like, thank y'all for sharing these wins that you have. I think sometimes people kind of get down, right? They're like, and by people, I mean me too. Like, this stuff isn't out there. Like these big $100 sales, this stuff's not, how you find, it's not out there in thrift stores. This stuff doesn't exist. These people, these guys and girls that make videos, this isn't real, or that person lives in a special area of the country. They get stuff that I can't get. There's all this like doubt and self-doubt. And like, sometimes it's just excuses to make us feel better. But I love when y'all share these sales like this. Like, look at this. We got a $65 sale out of a $5 purchase. We get a $100 sale out of a $12 purchase. Like, these are big hitters. And yeah, these are people that these aren't the crazy lunatics like me running around with cameras and thrift stores and stuff like this. Like, this is the real deal. Finally hit 1,500 items posted through and counting. Christy, you're running a big store over there, lady. That's awesome. I love that. That's great. 1,500. Let's go. Sold lots of vintage men's underwear for $25 to $35 for each package, and they sold within a week of listing. Also, lots of vintage pantyhose for $20. Isn't that crazy? The stuff that'll sell. If you're curious out there and looking for it, that's awesome. $1 a piece at a garage sale. Thank you for sharing that, Omi. That's awesome. Ooh, I found that jacket at Goodwill. I like it. I like it. That's the San Francisco Giants jacket. Oh man, thank you for sharing those, and keep them coming. And they don't just have to be high-end sales. I like to hear about like I show you the bread and butter stuff. I tell you, bread and butter is like 50% of my income. And then the high-end sales is like the other 50% of the income. So I couldn't live off just the high-end sales. I love the bread and butter equally as much as I like the high-end stuff, because literally it's like equal every month. It's about 50-50. You know, $10 to $20 profit items is half of my income. $20 plus items is half my income. So I like those things equally. The heavy hitters and the bread and butter, they're all the same. I love all my kids equally because the math is equal. Next up is a brand new tags Polo Ralph Lauren. This is bread and butter for me because I buy these retail arbitrage pretty consistently. I pay up for them. This one cost me $29. It's a long sleeve polo, size 2 extra large. You can see the MSRP is $115 on this bad boy. And so for $53.10, I didn't finish bagging up my corduroy blazer. Let's do that. Y'all got me excited with these sales. Y'all got me excited. Got to convert to the cardboard box system. I like the cardboard box system. I actually have the cardboard box. I have that a little bit in here. I just can't do it out in my garage for garage reasons. There's the cardboard box stuff going on there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I have 24 of those boxes in that system here inside, but I can't really do that like outside in the garage. It's just not super tight. But yes, I think it's a smart system. It's definitely efficient. And efficient is when you have 1,500 items, Christy, efficiency is going to be really huge. So David got this saddlebread, again, $50 sale. I paid $7. I'm going to tell you how long it took to sell too, and I'll tell you the profit too. I didn't write down the day I listed that, but I listed that when I was testing. I actually did a YouTube video about listing this item, and that was about a month ago. So we'll call that a 30-day sale on that saddlebread. It was one of the first items that I listed. Not one of the first, but one of the first I listed. I did a video about it on YouTube about using the AI listing tool from Nifty. This was the saddlebread from that video, which I made about a month ago. I don't know why I didn't put the date when I listed that one, but this sold to David. It's going to College Park, Maryland. So it's a corduroy blazer, which is kind of an academic look. Not kind of, it's an academic look. Isn't College Park where that University of Maryland is? I'm going to Google this. It's probably going to like a professor. It's like one of these things that professors like to wear so they look like a professor. Yes, it's in College Park. So I bet you this is going to a professor. You know what? Let's have some fun. I'm not going to tell you what the person's last name is, but I'm going to see if David is a professor at University of Maryland. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. That's funny. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but he is a professor. I'm just reading about him a little bit. Interesting. Very cool. Some of you might know I worked in higher ed for a decade. Most recently in traditional higher ed, my last job at a university was University of North Carolina in Asheville, UNC Asheville, if you will. So I'm always kind of curious about that world. I enjoyed my time in academia. I like my time owning my own business a lot better without all the bureaucracy of academia and all that stuff. But it was an interesting place for what it was. Anyway, thank you, Dr. David, or Professor Dr. David at the University of Maryland for that one. I don't do that too often, but I think it's kind of fun. How many are you fitting in one of those boxes? So I use a smaller box, Christy, than the ones that Kway recommends, because I use a 20-inch box just because I have smaller shelving inside here. I don't have like as wide of shelving, and I didn't want the stuff like the boxes to hang over as much and take up this is my workspace in here. So I used a smaller box than he uses, and I think typically shirts are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Shirts are like 13, like 12 to 14, we'll say, is what I can fit in one of those. And jeans is more like, I feel like it's like 8 jeans and pants kind of thing on average. Obviously different ones are different sizes, but yeah, hope that helps. I think I have those boxes linked in my, I'm just going to test if this is true. If I have them linked in my thing, my recommended reseller tools and supplies, storage, boxes for storing clothes. Here it is. I do have them linked. I'll share the direct link with you right now, just in case. Oh, maybe it is 24 inches. Did I measure it wrong? No, yeah. So mine are 20, but the ones I have linked here are 24, which I think are better if you're going to go, like, you're going to fit more items into it. So that's why I link these ones. So let me get you that link real quick. Get link, copy. Hello, you're back. What's up, Donna? Boom. That's that direct link to the boxes. Mine, again, are the 20-inch ones because but what you could do, see how they hang over a little bit? If I had the 24-inch boxes, they would just hang over a few more inches, which is fine. You actually want them to hang over a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier you can get more in there, and it also just kind of makes it easy to pull out and all that stuff. But I use the 20-inch ones because all of a sudden I can't open my closet door if I went to 24. See back there? That's my closet door. I don't want to lose my closet storage by having a bunch of boxes hang out over that. So I went with a 20-inch box, but I think it would be a good idea to get the 24. So that's the one I linked down below. Not the one I use, but the one that I recommend. And they're 24 by 8 by 8. Hope that helps. All right, here we go. Budgeting 15 to 18 items per box for myself. I'm going to be a big endeavor to switch everything over. I hurt my back lifting the totes. Believe me, I was feeling about the totes this morning too. I slept in, the guest bed at my in-laws, and it doesn't sleep quite like this is what you talk about when you get to my age, but I didn't sleep as well. Or my back, I slept fine, but woke up with like soreish back and stuff from sleeping in a bed that's not firm, but it's the opposite of firm. And so yeah, this morning when I was pulling some of those top bins off, I felt it a little bit more than I would typically feel it. There is a squirrel still out there. Like he's dropping acorn shells down on the garage. What is up? Donna is in the house. Okay, let's get back to business here. So I was talking about this polo. I paid $29 for it. It sold for $53. After fees on this, 42. I'm going to make like $14 on this, maybe 15 because I made a little money on shipping. Yep, $15 I made on this. I paid $29 for it. This sold really quick, actually. And I had 2 of these, same size. So again, 1 listing, quantity 2. It took 26 days to sell. So brand new tags, I paid $29, sold for $53. I like that. It's bread and butter item for me. Easy list, easy ship, and a quantity 2 on this. So I'll sell 2 of those. Men's size 2 extra large. It's a long sleeve polo shirt, cotton polo. Retail is $115. So the buyer's getting a good deal. Getting it for a little bit more than 50% off. This is going to Aaron. Aaron is in Moss Beach, California. Love my coffee. That's awesome, Donna. I appreciate you sharing some enthusiasm for the coffee. If anyone wants to get some coffee, by the way, it is right behind me. This is our coffee. You can see our 3 different roasts, our medium roast right there with the bright blue over here, is our light roast, and over here is our dark roast. And it's all fair trade. It's all organic. It's roasted fresh every Thursday. It's probably the best coffee you've ever had in your life. If you haven't had it yet, you haven't had the best coffee you ever had in your life. It is legit coffee. This isn't just some creator that is selling cheapo junk coffee to make a buck. I partnered with the roastery that has 12 years in a row been voted Western North Carolina's best coffee roaster. 12 years in a row, and we partnered with them. They roast our coffee. They source our coffee from all over the world. It is legit. It's fair trade. It's organic. And 2 of our coffees are actually single origin too. So that's like the paramount of coffee. It doesn't get better than that. I'm 40 and feeling 80 today. I'm 43 and I'm feeling 49 today. I'll give you 49. I'm not going to give you anything above that. That feels too much after that. The coffee is best per my husband. Appreciate you saying that, Laura. And by the way, if you do want to check out our coffee, no pressure, but I think you're missing out if you haven't. I'm just going to drop the link directly to our website. You can check out, that's right there in the chat. You can check out our coffee. You can see where it's grown. You can learn about the roaster and all that stuff. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that sort of stuff too. And I'm drinking a little bit of the coffee. This is the Black Mountain Dark Roast. This is, we did this cold brew. So we have a little cold brew coffee maker. I have that. I didn't link this. I'm going to give you the link to all of our tools that we use for our business. This includes everything we use for our eBay, Poshmark, Amazon business. It's everything I use for content creation. It's everything we use for coffee and like stuff that I recommend to upgrade your coffee game. But we have our coffee maker is linked at that link to our cold brew coffee maker, which is something we bought about 3 months ago, and we're in love with it. So this is a cold brew Black Mountain Dark Roast, a little bit of oat milk in there. Beautiful. Doesn't get better than that. And today was a 2 coffee day. I've been going back and forth between 1 coffee days and 2 coffee days. Today was a 2 coffee day. It was cold start. It was like dreary, dark outside. I'm like, I need a second coffee. Let's go. And now I'm feeling it. Now I'm feeling energetic. It took a little while to get going when it's like, when it's cool and dark like that. Next up is a pair of Mountain khakis. This brand has kind of come downhill. It used to sell better, used to have better sell-through rates, used to be able to get a little bit more money. But this one sold for full asking price, $23.99. Men's size 38 by 29. Just like a classic cotton, like kind of heavyweight khaki. I'm going to tell you how many days this took to sell. Cold brew is the best. My stomach can handle it. The beautiful thing about cold brew that a lot of people don't realize, but Donna does, is that there's less acidity when you cold brew a coffee as opposed to hot brew a coffee. So most of you are familiar with putting coffee in a coffee maker. It's hot, hot water goes through the beans, right? And then you get a cup from that. Cold brews, you actually brew it cold or room temperature. You can do it either way. You put it in the fridge for 24 hours. You put the beans in a filter inside a jar and just let it sit. And the brewing process happens just by the coffee sitting in the water. And by doing that process, you get less acidity in that cup of coffee, the resulting cup of coffee, than you would if you did hot brew. So it doesn't matter what you drink, light, medium, or dark roast. If you do it cold brew instead of hot brew, you're going to get less acidity, less pH. It also has a different flavor. The coffee, you taste more, like in the case of the dark roast, I taste more of the creaminess. I taste more of the dark chocolate, right, than I would if I roasted it hot, because it doesn't have those high notes of acidity. And acidity isn't like wrong, isn't bad. Acidity is good actually for flavor. People who like light roast like a brighter cup of coffee. That comes from acidity. But you have less acidity in those. Some people's stomachs can't handle the acidity, right? So they like darker roasts, which have less acidity. So if you want the least acidic cup of coffee, get the Black Mountain Dark Roast and do it as cold brew, and there will be very, very low acidity in that resulting cup of coffee. This took. We're talking about coffee. We're talking about pants at the same time. It doesn't make any sense, Chris. What is going on? This is my world. This is what I do. Mountain khakis. These took 4 days to sell, y'all. 4 days to sell. I bought these for $5 at the thrift store last week. On the 29th, I listed these and they sold on the 4th. Sorry, 5 days. Took 5 days to sell. My bad. 5 days to sell. $23.99. Now, I wouldn't expect that. Mountain khaki, the sell-through rate isn't that great anymore. I just kind of got lucky on this one. I expected this to sell in 30, 60 days, something like that. Wouldn't have been shocked with 90. But we're moving into that fall season where you're going to start seeing sell-through rates for fall type of items start to spike. So when you're looking at sell-through rates right now, you're looking at the past 90 days. So you're looking at summertime selling, and people aren't really, or summertime buying really. And people really aren't buying like heavy cotton khakis in the middle of the summer. So the sell-through rates are lower. So when you're looking up something like mountain khaki right now, you're looking at historical data from the last 90 days. But you need to up those sell-through rates in your mind, because you're buying right at the change of seasons right now. You're buying in August. So anything that you're buying, you're selling in the fall season. And so these fall items are going to have higher sell-through rates than what you're seeing when you're looking back historically. So anyway, this is going to Angelica. Mountain khaki, don't run out and buy every pair that you see. I pass on a lot of them because oftentimes they have flaws and stains and they're just kind of rough because people wear these. It's like an outdoor brand, you know. People wear these, they're climbing, they're working in them outside, you know, they're outdoor instructors, that kind of stuff. And they get wear out of them. So I pass on a lot of them that are kind of like worn out. But this one was in crispy condition, no stains, they weren't roughed up. And $23.99 sold in 5 days. The profit on this will be I'm going to make 15 plus 2. I'm going to make $17 in profit on this because I ended up making a couple bucks on the shipping too. So $17 profit is great, especially 5 days. Again, I haven't paid for the credit card bill from this yet. I won't pay the credit card bill on that item until September the 15th, but I already have the profit in my bank account, which I like. Next up is an interesting conversation. Yes, cold brew is the best. I cold brew my tea, so no heartburn at all. You know, that's a great idea too. I hadn't really thought about that. I should have thought about that, but I'm new to cold brewing at all, so I like it, Laura. Hey, I just got my first sale. Brooks Brothers linen yellow shirt, $19 was lower than what I listed. That's your first sale. Like this is it tomorrow. Like this is number one, the first thing you sold. Where'd you sell it? Was it eBay? That's awesome. Let's send some positive vibes. I'm going to leave that up on the screen. How about that? The first sale. Get out of town. That's awesome. And this just happened like just now, like while we're live, real time. We got to experience this together. That's pretty rad. Everyone give some positive vibes towards tomorrow with the first sale. She's going to tell us a little bit more. Where'd you find that item? Give us the backstory. How long did it take to sell? So Fabletics, I did a video about this over the weekend and got some opinions about my video, which I like. I like the opinions of people. So a lot of people told me, they're like, that's a terrible pickup, terrible sell-through rate, whatever. So I bought 3 of these Fabletics pants in the video. They were all size 42 by 34. 42 by 34. All 3 of them. 2 of them were used. One of them was new. This one took, let's look. This one took 24 days to sell. So I picked up all 3 of those 24 days ago. I just did the video over the weekend. And so a bunch of people saying like, bad sell-through rate, you're bad. But what they didn't do is what I tell y'all to do all the time. With pants, you can't just look up the brand. You can't just look up Fabletics pants and look at the sell-through rate. You could do that, but then you would have missed out on the sale. Because when you do that, these Fabletics pants, if you just search for that and you look at sell-through rate, you're going to find that the sell-through rate is about 33%, and you're going to find the average sale price of about $23. So that's like, for a lot of people, that's below like what they would pick up for a, that's below like their sell-through rate and their dollars, right? A lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to pick that up. For me, 30%, $23 average sale price, I'm going to pick that up, especially because I know we're going into the fall when that sell-through rate is going to go up, because these are pants. And this is actually a good fall pant because they're lightweight. People wear them for golfing, athletics, and all that stuff. Perfect for August, September, October sales. In my opinion, we're going to see that sell-through rate go up from 33%. So I'm sure it's going to get into the 40-something% range. So I would pick it up anyway. But what these people didn't look up was the size. When you look up pants, you've got to look up the sell-through rate. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you don't do this, you're going to miss out on stuff. You got to look up the sell-through rate for the model and then the size, right? Look up those 2 things. So when I filter this for inseam 34, which by the way, 34 inseam, there's no like general rules that are right all the time. But more often than not, you're going to find a 34 inseam is going to have a higher sell-through rate and maybe even a little bit of a higher average sale price. That 34 inseam, it's a little bit taller, a little bit harder to find. It's not going to be true for every single example, but I do find it to be true a lot of the time. So when I saw that these are 34, I was like, okay, These would probably have a better sell-through rate than the regular Fabletics. When I searched for that online, the sell-through rate for the 34 inseam went from 33 for all Fabletics up to 52 for the size 34 inseam. Think about that. Just by filtering for 34 inseam, the sell-through rate went from 33% for all Fabletics to 52% for the 34 inseam. But then when I searched for 42 waist and 34 inseam, guess what? 0 of these were currently listed, and 6 of them had sold over the last 90 days. How do you like that for a sell-through rate? 0 listed, 6 sold over the last 90 days. I like that. So there's no rate for that, right? It's perfect. So the people who commented on this saying this is a bad pickup, bad sell-through rate, bad brand, they were kind of right. I liked that they were at least identifying, they were looking at sell-through rate, right? And evaluating if sell-through rate made sense for their business or not. It's a very smart thing to do. But they got to take it to the next level. You got to look at the size of pants and jeans. It makes a really, really big difference. It makes a difference on shirts. It makes a bigger difference on pants and jeans. And this one, by the way, is called the Dawn 5-Pocket Pant, which will help you narrow in on items. But anyway, this sold in 24 days. I paid $5 for it. Sold for $39.99. So after fees, I'm going to make 33 minus 5 is 28, and I'm going to make $2 on the shipping. So I'm going to make $30 profit on this pair of jeans. I bought 3 of them. I paid $5 a piece for them. So $15 total invested on 3 pairs. 1 pair sold, and I already made $30 in profit on it in 24 days. The other 2 are going to sell in pretty quick, short order. The other 2 are used, but they're going to sell because you know what? I'm the only seller that has the 42 by 34. So if somebody is that size, there's nobody else to buy it from but me. So you gotta, guys, this isn't picking on anybody. The people who came into the comment section and said those things, I'm not picking on them. I really wish that they, I hope that they read my responses and learn from it and say, yeah, you know what? He's right. I should have looked up the size, the 40, which was very clear in the video that they were all size 42 by 34. If they looked that up, they would have realized this is a good pickup. So who knows? Maybe the reseller went through. I'm sure we have the thrift store I picked this up at. I always see other resellers there. I know them by name. They know me by name. I'm sure some of those guys went through and they passed because they saw the Fabletics pants were 33% sell-through rate. And I say, thank you. You left them for me. And therefore I can make profit. But I want everybody to make profit too. So guys, look it up. I know I'm beating a dead horse here a little bit, but these people, they come in, they're kind of smart because they're looking at sell-through rate. And they think, of course, like when they make these comments, right, they're not being super nice about it. They're usually kind of dismissive. They want to sound smarter than the guy on the videos. And it's like, yeah. And it's funny. So the story to this too. So yesterday went out to lunch before we left Winston-Salem. We went out to lunch with Kim's mom and dad. And I got 2 notifications within a couple minutes as we were waiting for mom and dad to show up. One was the comment from a guy who was saying, terrible sell-through rate, those, whatever. And what do I do here? Steve. These are going to Steve in Niceville, Florida. That sounds like a nice town. Niceville. So within just like 4 minutes of each other, right? One notification came in, the guy saying like, that's a terrible sell-through rate, whatever. And then boom, the sale came. Full price sale, $39.99. Within 4 minutes of each other. You can't make this stuff up. These negative Nancy's who are too cool for school and smarter than the guy who makes videos. It's like so funny that like I look at that guy's comment. I'm like, this guy doesn't understand sell-through rate and how size impacts sell-through rate. And boom, sale came right up. I'm like, that's so funny. Don't you love how that works? Y'all look up the size when you're looking at sell-through rate and all that stuff. And tomorrow, congratulations, 2 weeks. Are you doing any retail arbitrage at TJ Maxx and Marshalls? Yes, but I'm wrapped up all my TJ Maxx and Marshalls. All those yellow tag sales stuff started last Monday, and I'm done. I already hit all the stores that I'm going to hit, and at this point, it's probably picked over. They do a second round of, they call it second markdowns or final markdown. They tip a lot of stores will do that. I think today, like this week, they'll start marking down things again. So there'll be a yellow tag on top of a yellow tag. So you can get some stuff that you passed on last week because you're like, it's too much money still. They mark a lot of those down like another $4 or $5 this week. So, But yes, I did hit some of that stuff last week. Not as much as I have in the past. I think I went to 9 stores, but last year I think I went to 32 stores during the yellow tag sales event. So I just didn't do as much of it this year. It wasn't as good. I wasn't hitting as hard. I wasn't getting as much luck at those early stores. So I just made a decision, because once I start going to 32, that means I'm doing a lot of traveling. Like 9 stores, like hits like I got like my geographic region. But when I start stretching to 32, that means I'm like driving a couple hours in each direction to try to get more stores. And I was like, I don't think it's going to be worth it, especially later in the week when things get picked over and stuff. I decided that I wasn't going to stretch out to like a 2.5 hour radius like I have in the past. Somebody who lives in a bigger metro area might be able to hit more than 9 stores without having to drive as far as I do. Next up is a Vineyard Vines. I wasn't going to pick up these pants. I wasn't going to pick them up, but then I did. That's my whole story. I paid $5 for these. They sold for $19.80. I like to dig into these. Sorry, there's like a little fly in here. I like to dig into these little sales and tell you why or when. This is a borderline item for me. Let's dig into it. So I picked up a few of these all at once, and they were all the same size. I almost did them as a lot, but then I didn't. So let's take a look at what happened here. So I have sold 3 of these. Sorry, take that back. I've sold 2 of these. And how many do I have listed still? I have 1. So I picked up 3 of these, and 2 of them I've already sold. This one took 36 days to sell. The one before that sold the same day, and I almost passed on it. So the one that sold same day sold for $19.99. And then this one sold for $19.80 on this one. So this was a Nifty best offer at $19.80. The buyer hit the watch button on eBay. So the buyer, Lynette, hit the watch button. And then Nifty, 10 minutes later, sent a 10% off offer. So there you have it. Vineyard Vines. These are called the breaker pants. How did I know they were the breaker pant? Because on the inside, does it say it? On the inside, it says breaker pant. So this is a cotton stretch. They're kind of a mediocre sell-through rate item, but I mean, the first one sold in literally the same day, and this one took 30. I already said it. 36 days. So I don't know. That's pretty good if you ask me. I paid $5 a piece for 3 of them, so $15 total. I already got 2 sales for about $20 a piece. So those are the breaker pants. There is a better there's a better line that's more of like a performance. This one's a cotton stretch, but the ones that are like the polyester stretch, I think they're called On The Go. Is that them? The On The Go polyester ones do a little bit better. I like, and they usually sell for a little bit more money. I think that's what they're called. On The Go. No? Am I making that up? I thought that's what they were. Maybe I'm making it up. But look for the Vineyard Vines ones that are the polyester, like elastane ones. Those ones sell for more like a $25 range. These ones sell for more like a $20 range, the cotton stretch ones. Yeah, I almost left these behind. I was so close to just saying, no, forget it. And then I was like, you know what? I'll buy them and I'll bundle them, and I can make a little bit of quick money there. But I guess I'm glad I didn't bundle them, because I already got $40 in sales off that $15 spent, and I still got 1 left. So I'm okay with that. 36 days, that's it. I was surprised in that first one. I was like, man, I almost passed on this, and it literally sold in less than 24 hours. I'm like, how crazy is that? What did you get? Let me just see. What are we referring to? Retail arbitrage. Probably got about 100 different items. I don't know if I don't have any of them like out here. Do I? I got some Levi's. I got some 7 Diamonds. I got some Dunning. I got some Holderness and Bourne. I got some Polo Ralph Lauren. That's all I can see or / remember. I sold a Travis Matthew New Tag quarter zip pullover for $62.95. Purchase for $5. Let's go. Nice sale, Julie Hickman. I like it. How's things, Julie? I appreciate you sharing that flip. That's great. Nancy, they have a line of On The Go. Yeah, I thought it was On The Go. I just searched my inventory. I didn't find any On The Go's. I thought I had some, but maybe I don't. Next up is a Duluth Trading. These sold actually really quick too. So 3 Duluth Trading pants sold today. I know a lot of people pass on Duluth Trading. I pass on a lot of Duluth Trading too, don't get me wrong. But 3 pants sold over the weekend, all Duluth Trading, 2 men's, 1 women's. This one I think sold for the most, $23.99. And let's just see how long it took. This took 1 day to sell. I was going to say these, I think I listed these last week. I listed these Saturday morning sitting on my in-laws couch. I listed these. I had them drafted. Took 1 day to sell. They sold yesterday for $24.99 on these. $24.99. I paid $5 at the thrift store last week. These are called the Duluth Trading Ballroom Double Flex. Dark denim, relaxed fit jeans, men's size 36 by 32. So $5 and a $24.99. Took 1 day to sell. Quick flip. Won't pay this credit card bill until September the 15th, and then I already get the profit in the bank. I like it. Duluth Trading, you're going to start seeing some of these mediocre sell-through rate fall items like jeans and pants and flannels and all that stuff. That stuff's going to start taking off. So when you're looking at sell-through rates right now for fall items, remember, you're looking at the summer data. You're looking at summer sales data. That's not a great predictor all the time of what the fall sales data will be. In Duluth Trading Ballroom Double Flex jeans, you're going to see that sell-through rate is going to go up on. Whatever it is now, it'll go up. This is going to William. Thank you, William. $24.99. My profit on this is going to be 21 minus 5, 16. I'm going to lose $1 on shipping. So $15 profit. This is $10.10 to ship this to Idaho. So if I'm shipping clear across the country, Asheville, North Carolina, out to McCammon, Idaho, $10.10 on this. It's a 2-pound rate. I looked up the padded flat rate envelopes. Boy, those went up. The padded flat rates are $10.50 now. The priority ones, $10.50. When I first started doing this, I think they were $7.30. They might have been $6.95. I'm trying to remember, $6.90 or something like that when I first started. But I definitely remember them being $7.30, and then they were like $7.85, and then they were like 8 something. They went up to like 9 something earlier this year, like $9.50, I think, and now they're $10.50 for the padded flat rate envelope. So this one I saw $10.10 for the Ground Advantage, and I was like, well, I'm just going to use the padded flat rate. Sure, that's like $9.50 or something. I'll save 60 cents, and I don't have to use my own bags. I can use the free ones. And then I looked, it was like $10.50. It was going to cost even more. I was like, that's crazy, $10.50. Those things, I swear, in like 2018, I think they were probably like $6.90 or something like that. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts? The mailman just came to pick up my packages. I watched him on the Ring camera, and he looked into my camera and said, good job this weekend. He knows I resell. That's awesome. It's good to have, your delivery people be supportive of your business, and for you to be supportive of them. It's a good back and forth because they make things run for you. And make things run. Thank you, Julie. I love if other people want to drop like good sales from the weekend. I want to hear about that stuff too. I'm showing you mine. I'd love to hear about yours. I love the bread and butter stuff too. Don't be shy about those. Just because it's not a $50 sale doesn't mean I'm not going to like hearing about it. Like, I'm going to love talking about this one. Here is a Territory Ahead. This is called their Territory Reserve line. I don't think there's much like cachet to the Territory Reserve line. I picked this one up for a couple reasons. It has a pretty cool pattern. I don't pick up all Territory Ahead, but when they have like really good Southwest vibes or just very unique, weird patterns, I pick them up. I pick them up when they're linen. I pick them up when they're wool. Linen, wool, unique, or really Southwesterny is when I pick up Territory Ahead. But this one like kind of had a unique pattern to it that I thought was pretty cool. Plus it's size extra large tall. So those 2+1s for me made this a pickup. And it sold for a best offer last night for $20. And it took 3 days to sell. So not great profit, but $5 into $20 on this. I'm going to make about $12.50 on this after fees. About $12.50 after shipping and fees. And again, 3 days. I won't pay the credit card bill on this item, on this purchase, which was $5. I'm not going to pay that until September the 15th. And I already got profit in my inbox. So these quick sales are just really, really powerful for the business in terms of spending money quickly, using the bank's money to make money, and just keep it rolling. Keep buying stuff, keep selling stuff. Keep buying stuff, keep selling stuff. So even though this is only a what did I say? 1250 profit. Whatever, let's spin it. I can go buy something else with that 1250 profit. I can buy 2 more shirts this week. And if I can sell those 2 shirts next week, then boy, then at that point, that'd be like, say, 2 more 1250 profits. That's $25. Now I can go buy 5 shirts the following week, right? List those, try to sell those the next week. Of course, it doesn't always work out where they sell every week, but this one did. It took 3 days to sell. And that's the idea. That's the flipping spirit, is like, get the stuff moving. Get the stuff moving. I like it. So there goes our eBay sales. I keep drinks out there in hot Florida and celebrate some holiday 2-3 times a year with a gift card. That's awesome. How nice of you. That's just a high character move, Nancy. Forget about like whether you should do it or you shouldn't do it. It's just a high character move. So that's awesome, Nancy. You took an opportunity to spread love into the world. And even though it's supporting your business too, you did it. It's a high character move. You're spreading love into the world, and I think it's really smart. And I appreciate you doing that. It makes the world a better place. You impacting one person with just some nice things a couple of times a year. How do I change my eBay shipping charges? I have them like you, flat rate, but everything went up. You can do a bulk edit, and I can show you really quickly like how to do a bulk edit if you want. Just give me a Y if you want me to show you how to do a bulk edit of your shipping prices. There's probably other people in the chat, so even somebody else can put Y down below in the chat if you want to see this. If you want to see how to change your eBay shipping rates in bulk, so you don't have to change every single listing, which would be ridiculous. I have 1,500 some odd listings, right? So to change each one would be crazy, but you can do it in a bulk way, and I can show you how to do it. If you want to, just drop a Y down below in the chat. I'm going to start gathering up we'll do a Mercari sale. I got one Mercari sale, my first Mercari sale of the month. We'll start doing that one, but give me a Y if you want to see that, and I'll give you a quick demo of it. So here we go, 7 diamonds. This is the first time I've sold this brand. I have a few of them in inventory now, but this is the first one to flip. I picked this up for $13. Wait for it. I'm going to tell you when I picked it up. It was recent, 8 days ago. 8 days ago. $13, and this sold for a best offer on Mercari of $36.99. So 13 into $36.99. What is it gonna make me on after Mercari fees? I think it usually tells me. Let me just look. 30. So Mercari's taken $4.42 from this. The buyer paid for the shipping, so I don't have to worry about that. So $32.57 is what's left for me, and then I paid $13. So I made $19.50 off this sale right here. $19.50. I see you, Nancy and Donna, with the Ys. I'll do that right after the Mercari. I like it. So we'll do a little teaching segment here, a little tutorial to help some of you out. Got some offers coming in. So I paid 13, made 19.50, took 8 days to sell. Again, spinning that money. So now I have $13 in profit with which I can use to go buy more stuff. And technically I have I have $19 in profit. I also have my original $13 back, which I can use to buy stuff too. And again, I won't pay this credit card bill until September the 15th on this particular item. And this is going Mercari, going Ground Advantage. 8 days to sell. I like it. This is going to Jason. I don't sell a lot of Mercari these days, but my first 7 diamond sale. So it seems like the book on 7 diamonds, from what I can tell, it's new to me, is you're really looking for the 4-way stretch. And we'll say it, I should have showed you, it'll say it like right on the tag. If you don't see it right on the tag, you'll just look at the materials tag. It'll be like a polyester elastane. Even a nylon elastane would work too, but that's what you're looking for, is those wicking stretch ones. You're not looking for cotton. You're looking for those wicking stretch, and the key word you'll use is 4-way stretch. That's what the 7 diamonds calls these ones, and that's what you'll see like all the good comps are, is the 4-way stretch. So $19 profit on that piece right there. I got some more of those, so I'm hoping that those sell pretty good for me. Good to get the first one out the door. So that's like 3 new brands that I shared with you, items that I've never flipped before, brands that I've never flipped before today. So you always got to be learning. I'm 7 years into this game, and I've been very clothing focused for the last probably last 4 of those years. I've been like 90+% clothing, and I'm still learning new brands all the time. 3 of them out the door today. Brands I've never bought or sold before, and out the door just from this weekend. So you always got to be learning. All right. Let's do this quick little demo. So some of you are asking, like, how, like, shipping prices just went up. Like the padded flat rate envelopes are now $10.50. What the heck happened? So I need to change my eBay shipping rate. So I'm going to give you a quick little demo of this right now. Just want to make sure I get this right. I just don't want to show you any like shipping information or customers information. So just making sure I get that off the screen. We'll share this. Okay. So what I'm at right here is my eBay Seller Hub. And this is where we're going to do all the magic, is right from the eBay Seller Hub. So you can see across the top all these different options I have. If you have questions as I go through this, let me know, slow me down. But I'll try to move through this fairly quick, but slow enough where we can get the point across. So I'm going to go to my listings tab, and I'm just going to click listings. And this is showing where you'll see 1,549 listings. If you look down here, this will give you an idea of my business. 1,549 listed. This is the total listing price, so $58,000. And here's the total quantity, because a lot of these items are multi-quantity items. So you can see I have 1,733 total units available for sale in my store right now on 1,549 listings. Okay, so we're going to do a bulk change on price. So I'm going to click on shipping price. So I'm going to click this edit button right here, and I'm going to do edit. Well, the challenge is you're going to have different ones. So I'm going to do edit selected. Oops. How am I going to do this again? Let me do edit all 1549. I think this will work. So edit all 1549. Sorry, I haven't done this in a long time, and then we're going to go to, so it's bringing up revised listings. It's taking a minute. It's still kind of loading them all. Boom, we're good. So now I'm going to go to where it says bulk edit. And I'm going to scroll down to, you can change a lot of different things. You can change pricing. You can change, your buy it now settings, whatever, shipping policies. And I think because I have shipping policies, I think I have to do it this way now. So I'm going to go to shipping policies. Please select at least one listing. Right. So I'm going to select all. All are selected. Got it. Bulk edit. Sorry. Shipping policy. Cool. So I have like 4 different shipping prices that I commonly use. I use $6.95, I use $8.95, I use $9.95, and I use $12.95. So I would have to do this I'd have to do this 4 times, right? So first I'm going to do shipping policy. I'm going to do change to. So let's say I want to raise my $6.95 to $7.95. I don't want to, but let's just say I want to. So I'm going to change it to $7.95. Save. Shipping policy change to. Let me work through this here. Payment policy. Okay. Apply. I hope this doesn't just do it. Oh crap. It just did it. I was hoping it gave me like a confirmation. I think this is my confirmation. I'm not going to confirm that, but basically I just changed every single one of my listings to, it would have been $7.95 shipping. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm not going to submit. You can see in the bottom corner, if I move, let me move me. So let me move me. Oops. There we go. I guess you can't see it, but down behind my little face is where there's a submit button, and I'm not going to hit the submit. There it is. You can see it now. I'm not going to hit submit on that. I'm going to cancel it because I'm not going to change all my stuff to $7.95. But you'll have to fiddle around with it. You'll have to go select all your ones that are, $6.95. You'll go select them down your list, and you'll do a change to $7.95. It'll take a little bit of time. It's probably like an hour project if you have 1,500 listings. If you had 100 listings, it might be like a 15-minute project kind of thing. But you'll just have to go to this bulk edit screen and play around with it. That might not have been the best demo. Again, I haven't done this in a long time, but that's how you would do it. Discard changes. Yes, I'm going to discard those changes. I'm not going to change my whole store to $7.95 shipping, but That's ultimately how you can do it. But what you're going to do is you're going to select all your $6.95 items, and then you're going to change, do that change bulk to $7.95. You'll find all your $8.95 items, and if you're going to move those to $9.95, you'll select all those. You'll change it to $9.95. You'll submit, and you'll go through that whole process. So if you have 4 price points like I do, you'll have to do 4 different. You'll have to do 4 different like bulk changes like that. So every time I have to allow offers, is there a setting to set it to always allow offers? Is there a setting? So I list off of when I listed through eBay, I listed off of templates. So all my templates would have like the offer would be turned on. So if I show you like these are like eBay tutorial things here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And again, I list through Nifty now, so it's sort of a different story, but let's share this screen. So this is how I used to list up until about 2 months ago. So I have under listings, sorry, where is this? I don't know where you find this. I have it like bookmarked up at the top, but this is my manage listing templates. These are all the different listing templates I have. You can see like men's shorts, men's suits, polo shirts, pants, khakis, casual women's pants, jeans, men's. So if I want to go in and list jeans, I'm going to click this. I'm going to hit create listing, and it's going to bring up a template that I built for specific for jeans. And if I scroll down in this template, you're going to see a lot of things that are kind of already checked off: department men, color blue, type jeans, fit regular, material cotton, closure button. You're going to see all this stuff, and then my description is already loaded in here. About Peak Outfitters is already in here. So all I have to do is go and, drop in the photos and, put in some of those measurements right down below and, add any different details. Like if it's not an excellent use condition, then I'm going to go ahead and change that description and describe whatever like the flaw is. But I have all this stuff built in there, but I have like a default price to $24, which you can play around with. I have allow offers, boom, turned on. So all my templates, I have allowed offers turned on. Sometimes I don't allow offers on items. When I'm listing that particular item, I turn it off. In jeans, I have defaulted to $8.95 shipping, 1 pound, 15 ounces, and the package dimensions of 12 9x2. So that way I don't have to enter all this information every single time. It's in that template and makes it quick for me to list the item. So hope that helps. I know that was quick, but you're welcome. I was lost every time. Okay, we got that one. There we go. I know both of those things were quick. And honestly, there's like YouTube videos for pretty much anything. You're like, how do I do this on eBay? There's a YouTube video about it that's like, slow tutorial style that you can rewind, fast forward, and go through all that stuff. But I want to give you just a quick look at how I do a couple of those things. It's when I sell similar, it's an offer issue. So a couple things that you could consider doing, Julie, is not to do sell similar on other people's items, but to do sell similar on your own items. And if all of your own items already have best offer on them and you're hitting sell similar, then the best offer will remain on those items. So back in the day, I used to list your style, which was selling similar, but I never did sell similar from somebody else's listing. I would do sell similar from my own similar listings. And that way, all my information was already in there instead of somebody else's settings and whatever, if that makes sense. So I don't know how you're doing it, but if you're doing it sell similar on other people's items, you're going to get their settings from that item instead of your own settings. So do a sell similar from your own, or just invest some time. Take a couple of hours and build out some templates. And once you've done that, then you don't have to worry about sell similar anymore. You just use your own template that has all the information loaded in there that you want. And that's the way I basically have been doing it for like probably the last 2 years. And then now I list everything through Nifty. I use their AI listing tool, and that speeds me up through the whole process. It's when I sell similar, it's an offer issue. Okay, yeah, I already got that one. Yeah, so hope that helps. Let's move on to Poshmark sales. Just 1 second here. Okay. We still got 4 more sales to go out. We got 3 Poshmark. We got an Amazon. So let's keep the train moving down the tracks. If you have questions, drop those questions. I'll answer them the best I can. Sometimes that means we'll do a little shared screen, a little teaching lesson. But let's get back to sales. Let's take a look at what's going out the door. You're welcome, Julie. I saw eBay added an auto price reduction button. It says they will lower the item price until it sells or hits your set rate minimum. Yeah, so they have that. That feature is available on Mercari and has been for a long time. Does Poshmark have that? I forget if Poshmark has that or not. But I personally like to remain in control of my pricing, and a big reason for that, Julie. Right? Say right now. I list a really great summertime item, and we're kind of late summer. So swim trunks, we're kind of like past peak swim trunk selling season. Will swim trunks sell in November, in December? Sure, somebody's going to go on vacation, but the sell-through rate for swim trunks is going to go down. So if I list a really nice pair of swim trunks right now for $49, and I turn on that auto price reduction button. Let's just say I turn that on. Well, I'm not really expecting that. I mean, hoping to get lucky by selling it like right now. But if it doesn't, that price reduction button, like I'm guessing every 30 days, it's going to lower it by a certain percentage. So say it lowers it by 5% for next month, and then 5% the month after that. Well, all of a sudden, by the time I get into like really good selling season again for swim trunks, if it's 5% every month, we could be talking about March when the swim trunks start selling again, that item is going to be like $30, and then it's got to sell for $30, next March. And I'm like, dang it, So like for me, I want to be in control of my pricing, because I don't want to just like crazy discount an item that I'm buying now. It could be a retail arbitrage item, right? When I could be paying $20 for that item, right? So when I have to be careful with the retail arbitrage game with a price reduction tool like that. It's automatic, because it could ruin the seasonality of it. I know right now some of the stuff that I'm buying that is end of season, summertime items, I know some of those aren't going to sell till next March, and I'm comfortable with that. But I kind of almost have to do that in some cases, because if I price it too aggressively, I don't have my margin. But if I'm patient and I wait till that stuff gets hot again in March and April next year, I can get top dollar for it. So that's something you have to do. Now, of course, if my buy cost is like $2 on those, $50 shorts, that's a different story. Like let's let that price reduction tool keep knocking it down. And if it sells for $30 in the middle of January, fine, I still made my profit. But if I bought that item for $20 and now I sell it in the middle of January or the middle of February for $30, I'm not going to be super psyched about that, right? So that's my thought process on the price reduction. I have a significant portion of my business is retail arbitrage, which are items that I pay more money for. I'm not paying $5 for them. I'm paying 20, I'm paying 30, I'm sometimes paying $50 for those items. So I got to be careful kind of, with like an automatic price reduction tool. If everything was $5, which, most of my thrifted stuff is $5 buy cost, that's a different story. Then I think it makes some sense. All right, let's dig into those Poshmark sales like I promised. So eBay is done. Mercari is done. We got 3 Poshmark. We got an Amazon too. So we got a Charles Tyrwhitt. This is a really expensive brand new brand. It is a British brand called Charles Tyrwhitt. They're known for dress shirts is their big thing. You can find blazers and pants from them too, but most of what you'll find at thrift stores is a shirt. Now, I don't pick up a lot of these. This one isn't actually a great size. It is a size medium, which I typically avoid in Charles Tyrwhitt, but look at the color on that. Nice, like bright pink. It's also an Oxford style shirt, so a little bit thicker. It is a very in style, like modern pattern too. Like it's not kind of like this stale, bland, kind of out of style pattern. This is like a right now pattern, right? So I picked this one up for $5. It's sold on a best offer on Poshmark for $18. I'm going to put this in a padded flat rate envelope, and I'll do that with all my Poshmark orders. They're free from USPS.com. I can use any packaging I want, but I can use these, and they're free. So I'm going to go ahead and use these. So that Charles Tyrwhitt, Poshmark charges 20% fees. So on $18, that's $3.60 in fees. That means I'm going to be left with $14.40, and I paid $5 for this item. So I'm going to make $9.40 off this. Not a lot of profit. That's kind of at the bottom end of my profit spectrum, but I figured this one would sell. I think it sold fairly quickly too. Let's confirm. it didn't sell fairly quickly. It sold in 151 days. So I picked it up on March the 5th. Really nice pattern, really nice color. And it sold in a best offer for $18. And it took just about 5 months, 2 days short of 5 months. That's fine. You're going to have some stuff that goes slow. Charles Tyrwhitt is sometimes I'll put it in the cart if I just get a good feeling about it. It's typically a slower seller. I know I've seen some people talking about Charles Tyrwhitt in one of the groups, like reselling groups lately. Yeah, you can get lucky with some of them. I think sticking to bigger sizes and really in style patterns is probably the right way to go with them. But if you buy 20 of these shirts, you ain't got to sell 10 of them inside 30 days. I'll tell you that right now. It's just, once you start getting the stuff at scale, and trust me, I've sold a lot of Charles Tyrwhitt over the years. It can be a tough sell, even though it's a really expensive, high quality item. It's just not like a hot brand here in America. Like, just doesn't have the cachet, so to speak. Frankly, it's probably higher quality than a lot of stuff that people paid twice the price for. But again, fashion sometimes doesn't make sense. And by sometimes, I mean, fashion doesn't make a lot of sense. It don't make a lot of sense. People like what they like. Like, why are kids now wearing baggy wide leg jeans that we wore 25 years ago? And they think they're original. It's like, no, we wore all this stuff, yo. All right, next up is a G4 golf polo. This one's kind of like an interesting colorway. And it's on an older tag. You'll see the tag is an older G4 tag. So G4 is a golf brand. It got purchased by Peter Millar in 2018, if you care. This one sold for a best offer of $26. I had it listed for $29. The customer started at $20. I countered at $26. They came up to $22. I countered at $26. Forgot to use my padded flat rate. And then they accepted my $26. So I held my ground at that $26. Got it. Kind of like a weird purple and black pattern. Not a great colorway. Not super modern. But it's sold, and it's a size medium too, which is not the best size. Although G4 mediums do sell okay. We've got to tell you how long that took to sell. 181 days. So not all these sales are quick sales. I picked that up February the 3rd, and it sold August the 3rd. So there you go. 6 months on that sale. Again, older. It's an older G4 tag. It's a size medium, and it's not like a super in-style pattern. So I'm lucky, honestly, to get 26 on that one. I priced it at 29. I probably should have priced it lower. A better pattern and a better size. 29 is actually a good price. It could have sold quickly. But older tag, smaller size, not great pattern. I'm lucky to get 26 on that one, but it took me, I had to wait 6 months to get it. So probably better to price that shirt at like 23 and take offers. I probably would have sold it a lot quicker, but whatever. It's sold out the door. We got one more Poshmark, and we got an Amazon sale going out the door. So here's a North Face. It's a puffer jacket. It's a reversible. It's a polyester fill, so it's not a down fill. It's also a boy size medium. You're not going to be able to see the tags, but it's a reversible. So the reversible, sometimes they'll have the tag like in the pocket. This one had the tag in the pocket. So boy size medium. It had a slight flaw in it, like a little hole where some of the stuffing could come out, just like a really small one. I pointed that out in the listing with a photo with a pointer pointing right at the flaw, and described it in the description and all that stuff. Best offer on this of $21 out the door on this North Face. 21. Not a bad idea right now to cruise through the kids section and look for things like puffer jackets and North Faces and Patagonias and that sort of thing. Not a bad idea, because a lot of people are just ignoring that stuff. It could have accumulated in your thrift store over the summer months, because nobody's shopping for kids' wintertime stuff right now. Might not be a bad idea to cruise through and see if you can grab some of this stuff. I don't buy a lot of kids' stuff, but premium wintertime stuff can still get some decent money. like back on the spring, I found some Carhartt kids jackets. It's a pretty good pickup. Picked those up in the spring when people really, had stopped buying jackets at thrift stores, and I was like, well, I'll cruise through the kids stuff and see if I can find some good stuff. And sure enough, some Carhartt, like the duck jackets, Detroit style jackets. I think those mostly sold in like the $25 to $30 range. And like the kids stuff at my thrift stores is cheaper. I forget what they charge, like $4 for like a kid's jacket or something like that. Fall is selling. Sold 2 boho crochet capes today. Nice, Donna. Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of, if you talk about fall items, I had a lot of pants, a lot of jeans, a puffer jacket there, a merino wool, like kind of fleecy jacket. I'm trying to think of what else we had. A lot of pants though, like a lot of khakis, some golf pants, some jeans. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm seeing the shift for sure, but we still sold some golf polos. I still sold a pair of shorts, right? But we're seeing the shift towards fall for sure. Here's our last sale of the day. I'll take a look. We got some, before I pack this up, how about we look at some offers? I feel like some offers have been rolling in, or maybe some sales even too. All right, so let's see. A lot of notifications, but let's see if any of them are eBay. Probably easier just to look on the desktop here. So I had an order come in, an LL Bean short sleeve button down shirt that I've had forever. I bought like 50 of these. I found 50 LL Bean short sleeve men's size extra large shirts at a thrift store. A couple of years ago now. I bought them all. I was like, whatever, they're going to take a while to sell. Some of them sold quick. Some of them took a while. This one took a while. $12.95 on that one. So that one sold. And let's see if I have any offers that came in while we're alive here. Respond to open offers. I got a couple offers. All right. I got a North Face pair of convertible pants. I have them listed at $25.99. Let's see what we got for an offer. $15.01. So I have them listed $25.99. This person offered $15.01. Oh, this person offered me $15 yesterday, and I countered at $23.99. I gave them a couple bucks off, and they came back at $15.01. So I'm going to counter back with my same price that I already gave to them. And that's that. At this point, like, I know this person's not going to buy this item. Yeah, that was yesterday. And I countered 22. So I'm going to stay at $22.99. I'm not counter offering this person because they're a low baller. They went up from $15 to $15.01. So I know they're just playing games. This person's not a buyer at the price that I'm interested in selling to. I'm countering. So I'm not going to decline this offer. I'm going to counter offer this with the same exact price that I just did, because I want there to be activity on this listing. I want there to be offers and interest that feeds the algorithm. This item will likely show up higher in search results as a result of this. And so I want somebody else to come in and buy this item or make an offer on this item. So I'm not responding to this person because I want to humor them or I want to play their game. I'm responding because I'm playing the algorithm game. So somebody else comes in. So, it'd be easy for me to be emotional and like decline the offer and block the person. Some people do stuff like that. I'm not going to do any of that. I want more activity on that listing. I want more activity in my store, and I want that item to sell to somebody else. So that's why I did that. So I just countered at $22.99, which was the same price that I gave them the last time. I have another offer for a pair of Fly-Low Goodson mountain biking pants. $39.99 is my listing price. Let's see what the offer is. $25 is the offer. I'm not going to take $25. I only paid $5, so I'll make profit on these. But this is a good mountain bike pant from Fly-Low. So I'm going to counter. I'm at $39.99. They're at $25. I'm going to counter at $34.99. So I'm going to come down. So I know there's not a lot of these listed, particularly there's probably not another one in this size, in this color. I know that. So I'll come down on my price by $5 to $34.99, but I'm not going to come way down because I'm betting that this person doesn't they want the item and there's not another one that they're going to get for cheaper. So I'll counter at $34.99, right? I'm meeting them not in the middle, but a little bit closer. I'm, in negotiation, the way that you get to a good result is typically each party has to sort of give something up. So me, by going from 39 to 99, right? I'm saying, cool, I want to do business with you. I'm going to drop my price by $5, right? Because I want to get a deal done. So you're showing them something, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm just showing them something. Showing them. Let's do $34.99. Let's see what happens. Keep them in the running. 25 is not a terrible offer on that, but it's below market value. These are $35 to $40 pants. So at 25, I'm fine with waiting it out. I'm not going to just give it away at that price. Could I accept 25 and walk away with profit? Sure, but I'm not going to do that. So those are my two offers there on eBay. Let's see what we got going on Poshmark. These are offers that came in since we're live. I got nothing on Poshmark. I got nothing fresh on Poshmark. Thanks, Christy. Appreciate you being here. Hope you have an awesome day. Smart. Happy you're out of Facebook jail. Yeah, we got out of Facebook jail Tuesday 2 weeks ago. So this is our second Monday live since I've been back. And actually, I did like a random Friday live the week that I got it back, because obviously we do the live on Monday. I got it back on Tuesday. I was like, I haven't seen anybody in a couple of weeks. I was in Facebook jail for 11 days. So I was like, all right, we'll just do a pop-up live on Friday. We shipped out a bunch of orders. It was cool. So this is actually our third live since getting out of Facebook jail. But yeah, it's good to get out of Facebook jail. That was annoying. All right, let's ship out this Amazon order and then we'll call it a wrap. So this pair of Dockers pants sold for $42.98. The retail price on them. Dockers is a good seller on Amazon, not a great seller on eBay, but Amazon's a little different. It's those brands that are really common tend to sell really good, like the Columbias of the world. Nikes sell really well. Adidas sells really well. Under Armour sells really well. Lee, Wrangler, Dockers, Hagar, really common everyday stuff sells really well on Amazon. So $62 is the MSRP on these. On eBay, this is probably a $20 pair of pants, and it'll probably take a little while to sell. But these sold for $42.98 on Amazon. I paid $13 for them. I paid $13. Amazon charges about 19% fees. So $42.98. Let's put this over here. So basically, I'm going to pay $8.50 in fees on this. I'm going to need a calculator for all this. Let's just do it the right way. $42.98 times 0.81, 19% fees on Amazon. So I'm going to be left with $34.81 minus my $13 buy cost equals that. And then, so 21.8. And now let's just see how much I paid for that shipping label, because it's free shipping on Amazon. So I pay for the shipping. I forget what I paid. It was expensive, $9.60. Ugh. So I'm going to make $12.21 off those Dockers pants. If the shipping was $6, that would have been a lot better. But $12.21 will be to the penny profit on these. But because they're shipping all the way to Portland, Oregon, these are going in a padded flat rate envelope, which cost me. And so $12.21. But remember, on Amazon listings, I don't have to take photos of those items. I don't have to measure them. I just scan the SKU and then set my price, and then I scan the UPC, set the price, enter my SKU number, and I hit submit, and that's it. So I don't, no photos, no measurements, no cross listing, no nothing. So it's less labor, so to speak, but higher return percentage too. So 12.21 is kind of a tough profit when there's a fairly reasonable chance that those get returned, right? I could end up like, if that gets returned, I'm basically looking at like maybe a zero margin item at that point. So you just cross your fingers that that one doesn't get returned. It's like I've been seeing like a 20% return rate on Amazon. It's a big reason I haven't been focusing on it a lot. You haven't heard me talking about Amazon a lot because I'm not really selling that much on there. It's because I haven't been sourcing all that much for Amazon because I'm kind of tired of the 20% return rate and how that kind of chews up a lot of margin. Anyway, that's our live for today. I really appreciate everybody hanging out for a little while today. If you haven't hit that like button, that helps us out. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed or followed, we're Chris at Peak on all the platforms, so YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We put out 6 pieces of reselling content every single day with the sheer purpose of giving you some of that second level knowledge, like really digging in and helping you grow and get started with your reselling business. And just we like creating this conversation about reselling. We like reselling. We love reselling. It's how we pay our bills, but we enjoy talking about it. We enjoy sharing about it. So that's what this channel is all about. So appreciate some of y'all hanging out on this live. You saw exactly what we sold. We talked about exactly how much we paid for these items, how much we sold them for, the profit that we're making from all this stuff. And we really dug into some cool topics today, like sell-through rates and new brands. We even talked about like listing templates, and what else did we talk about there? Like bulk changes for shipping prices. I mean, we got into some nitty gritty today, and I like it. So thanks everyone for being here, sharing some positive energy, and we'll see you next time. We do this live around 11 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Monday. So we'll see you next Monday around 11 a.m. Eastern time. And but we'll put out all that content for what's that? 6 pieces of content every day. That's 42 pieces of content plus this live being 50 or 43 total. So we're putting it out there for you, and I appreciate all your comments and your likes and engaging in the conversation too. It's fun to learn from you as well. Believe me, we learn a ton